Top of the morning, my friends. Good morning, and happy Thursday. It's Thankful Thursday, Thoughtful Thursday, Think About It Thursday. It's whatever you want it to be. It's the day ahead of you that you get to live in. You get to still each moment. You get to give a moment to someone and receive a moment from someone. What we do with those moments truly can change your pathway of life. As we get older and more seasoned, life starts to look different than it once did. You remember being a child and how we wished for things. We wish we could do certain things, and as we became old enough to do those things, some of them we followed through and some we thought it's not that interesting. So before we jump into today's topic, I wanted to thank you for rising and shining with your girl TT from the D on the Top of the Morning Show. Let me officially say welcome to the Top of the Morning Show. I hope that you have your cup of coffee or your cup of tea, your smoothie, your milk, your water, that famous H2O we can't live without. Literally, we can't live without. And somewhere in the world, someone's drinking a mimosa. Now, let me see. Would I be drinking a mimosa this early in the morning, knowing I got to go to work? No. But would I be drinking a mimosa this morning if it was a vacation day and I was on a beach somewhere recording my show live, right from the spot, sitting down in a chair on the beach watching the sunrise? That would be lovely. That's the plan in a few weeks as we get ready to go off and be great for our anniversary, my husband and myself. But in today's time, we'll settle for a cup of coffee. But this morning, I just want to say thank you. Every day that you choose to log on to my platform and check out my show, I hope that you get something that makes you laugh, giggle, hopefully nothing that'll upset you. Some things will make you check yourself. I can't be responsible for how you feel about that. But sometimes we have to be reminded about things that we tend to hide from. Because understand, we can't hide from things our entire lives. We could suppress some things, but as we get older, our mentality, the way we live, the things we choose to do or choose not to do, they change. And that brings me to my topic this morning. 14 things no one tells you about aging. And it's a lot to know, right? It's a lot of know-hows. They're called the golden years for a reason. Sometimes I find myself lost driving. I get in tunnel vision mode. But when I see elderly people, I tend to think about what did they used to do when they were younger? We're in a hustle or bustle. Where are they going? Depending on the time of day, are they going for their morning walk? Just getting out, catching some fresh air? Because when you're in your young adult years, we're partying, we're going out, we trying to figure out the plan so we can have this elaborate golden year season. Then you get in the middle age, where I'm middle age. I'm 47. So I guess you would call me middle age. And so things tend to change. Your plans don't look the same. And I look at them, especially my mother. My mother's 74 years old. And she used to be very, very sharp. Very active. Always on the go. So much so, oh my God, she was gone every day. You would go by, her car is going like, she in these streets, baby. She would love to go window shopping or go and treat herself to the casino or go get a bite to eat or visit a friend or a relative. And as she's gotten older, she doesn't like to drive anymore. So my sister, Victoria, and myself, and sometimes my husband, and even my older son, Markel, sometimes we play Driving Miss Daisy. And we run our errands, which is fine. But we have hectic schedules because we all do a lot. And so I find it where she can feel left out. And when that hits my spirit, it makes me feel like, ugh. I'm always on the go. I'm always busy. And I told myself I'm going to slow down because these are her golden years. And because she doesn't like to drive anymore, she don't get out unless we pick her up. She's afraid of her husband's driving. So she'll tend to be in the house. She's not big on sitting outside her house because she lives in an area she feels like it's too many young folks around, and she just doesn't want to partake or see some of the things that happen. So she'd rather stay inside. And for her, that has to be life changing. And as her mind is being idle, things are happening, right? And you can only imagine. She has some really great days, then she has some really tough days. And it makes me think about those people that's out, I guess they reference crystallized intelligence, right? And they say, oh, it gets better even when you're in your 60s and your 70s. For some, yes. But then I think about for some, it's not so great. And I remember older people saying, and I say it to my children, I say it to people my age, if you don't use it, you lose it. The mind is a beautiful tool. It's powerful. I don't really know the statistics about the percentage we use of our mind, but I know I've not gotten anywhere near probably half of the capacity of what I could discover. I'm where I am in my mind and my growth, and I'm always looking to learn, and explore. But to tap into the full capacity of the brain, I don't know if anyone has ever lived to do that or found out how to do it. So they tell us to just make the best of it. Live your life. Some will say, live your life like it's your last day. Some people take that way out of context and they're living reckless. It's heartbreaking when you see certain things, the young generation. I'm like, hey, I'm middle-aged. I'm what they consider middle-aged, right? Some people I look at out here on social media just living reckless, doing crazy stuff. I think like, you don't even understand that because of the pathway you're choosing to be on, you are setting yourself up for balancing and gambling with your pathway to your golden years, right? So there's a lot of things we need to learn and know, but we want to embrace what we know right now, wherever you are in your age journey. Hold on to things in your mind, the positive. Read a little bit more. Share stories with people. Speak to your relatives that are elderly. Get the wisdom, the knowledge, so that you can pass it on when they leave this life, because it's a revolving door. They come, they go. They live, they die. It's the process of life. To be in it is amazing. Even on our toughest, ugliest days, it's still amazing. Even when we're in pain, be grateful that you feel it because you're alive. And I know you're like, what? Like, I hate feeling pain. I do not do well with pain. I don't like feeling sick. I don't like feeling ill. None of that. But I understand that it's a blessing when I feel what I feel, because that means that things are functioning. They may be out of whack, but they're functioning, right? I try to read things and commit my memory to storing data, because I understand if we don't use it, we lose it. Okay? So, number 2 would be Mr. Nice Guy. It turns out that we're not necessarily, think about that grumpy old man, that grumpy old woman. They probably weren't always grumpy. But life sometimes, the pathways we choose, unfortunately, the people we surround ourselves around, situations we allow ourselves to be connected to, involved in, pretty much can give us a blueprint to build the grumpiness, right? You might agree, you might disagree, and that's fine. You probably get more agreeable as you get older, at least through your 60s, they say. And you're also likely to be much happier, less inclined to get angry, because you realize what used to piss you off really doesn't bother you anymore, right? You learn to embrace and indulge wisely, lovingly, kindly, unless you're just bitter from birth. That's a whole nother thing. I don't really know. That means you should have had anger management at some point in your life. And it's not too late. It's never too late. We have 1,000 therapists out there. There's one right near you. Scientists have figured it out, though. They have a lot of theories, I should say. The hypothesis, the educated guesses. But older people might control their emotions a lot better because they've been through some things. Think about it. Right now, where you are in your age, you've been through some things. I know you've been through some things when you were younger. And it taught you how to deal with things as you moved forward. So if that same situation that had you piping hot happened now in your life, I'm quite sure you wouldn't handle it the same. There's so many men and women, boys and girls that are locked up, incarcerated, or in the grave, that made spontaneous thoughts that changed their life as they know it. I was just watching on social media the other day a young lady who, I don't know, I guess she was a college student. I'm sure she was a college student. And she was terribly drunk, intoxicated. She crashed into a car. Unfortunately, she killed 2 people. Right? They spent so much time trying to tell her that she had killed somebody. She's sitting there like, can I get my car? What happened to my car? Am I going to be late for school tomorrow night? Like, why am I at this hospital? All these questions. And I'm listening like, is she serious? And they're like, trying to explain it to her. She's so intoxicated. It's beyond belief. And they're like, you're never going to go to school unless you go in jail. You're going to go to jail for sure. 2 cases of vehicular homicide. And all the other charges, because, they trump them. Rightfully so. You do the crime, you do the time. You make mistakes that could have been avoided, you got to pay the price. I'm sorry. Right? But it's just like, I know if she could have backed her life up, not only would she not have driven intoxicated the way she was, because she was beyond I had a drink or 2 or 3. And I'm always telling people, listen, when you are out having a good time with family, friends, or on your own, because we go solo dolo, sometimes we treat ourselves out for a little, I'm going to take myself to lunch or brunch or dinner. And you're sitting back and you're embracing your moment of peace, your self time, your you time. If you, by chance, get intoxicated, by all means, if you're not a person that trusts Uber and Lyfts and all that, I feel you. I know you know someone that you can call and say, listen, I had too many drinks. I don't feel like I need to drive. Could you please come and pick me up? I don't think there's anybody that has a relative or a friend that would say no. Even if they had to get somebody to come get you, if they were like, I'm far away, I think that they would feel obligated to say, you know what? No worries. Even if they didn't tell you, because you might be like, no, I don't inconvenience other people. I don't want anybody to. No. If that was me, I would say, you know what? Okay, where are you at? Okay. Let me call you right back. Okay, don't move. I got you. I would call somebody I trust. Hopefully, definitely a mutual friend or a relative or somebody like, yo, I need you to do me a favor. So-and-so is wasted. They don't need to be driving. They call me for a ride. I am nowhere near. I may not even be in town. Could you please go and get them? I'll give you gas money, cash app you, whatever you need. I need you to make sure they get home safe. Right? Or get somebody to go with you to get them. drive their car with them in it. And then that way they have their car at home and, everything is good. But these are just things you think about. And that would put you in the nice guy, nice girl category. But I just said that and used that scenario because that young lady who definitely is going to prison, if she could have changed her thought, maybe it would have been different. When we look at life, things that we might have experienced could make us kinder as we get older, or it could make us what they call grumpy old women, grumpy old men. We have to focus and figure out the best way to increase positivity in our lives right now where you are, so that when you get older, as you're aging, you can embrace and really, really enjoy it. Number 3, play well with others. Okay, I know you're more in tune with other people's emotions. I'm in my 40s, right? And I'm really zoned in. I'm an empath, I've discovered in the last couple of years. So I've always been in tune with people's emotions and feelings. I just never really knew what that meant growing up, how I could tap into somebody's feelings, the energy, the vibe, right? That's why people say it because it's cliche. I feel a lot. Gotta protect my energy, protect my vibe. Yes, you do, honestly. You do. And when you see somebody is in a mood or a vibe and you like, that's not what I'm trying to do. Love on them and say, hey, I see you. I'm not trying to deal with that today. I can't carry that. I can't be a part of that right now. I'm trying to coast myself. So I can't, I would love for you to be able to change your mood, but I respect the space you may be in at this moment, and realize and understand and respect it for them as well as yourself. We're not going to always be, hey, how's everything going? Oh my God. Like, hey, you got some days like, I wish you just not talk to me. But you gotta, when you catch yourself, because it comes with growth and maturity, you are able to catch yourself and say, you know what, you acting ugly today. You shouldn't talk to nobody else today, because what you're saying out your mouth is not right. You're feeling a certain way because you're dealing with whatever it is. That don't mean take it out on everybody else. But that comes with maturity and growth, right? Because I understand that we feel we want to make everybody around us lives better. We want everybody to have the easy road. Yeah, why not? That's the right thing to do, but we can't always do that for others. We have to find ourselves when we find ourselves genuinely. Not because somebody told us to go look for ourselves. Oh, you discovered yourself. There you are. See? No, it doesn't work like that. Not in the real world. Number 4, better sex. Hey, older women. Now, the older heads, they call them cougars, right? May have sex less often when they were younger, but apparently they make it count later in life. I don't know. It's just like how you hear when they say, well, older men, they all of a sudden they hit 50, 60 and they feeling like, I need me a young thing, I'm a pretty young tender. It's like, for real, because she looking for a Social Security check. Right? She gonna spend all your coins, you know what I'm saying? And you gonna have to buy all the Viagra pills because she gonna keep you going if you're trying to get that little thing that don't even, like, oh, is that East or West? Did I do that? Or, you'd be looking like, okay, is there brain activity going on up there? I know you're alive, but is there really any mature functioning skills up there? We know it's functioning below, but is it upstairs? Is it really going down up there? So when we get older, the sex drive, they say it changes, and we make love more. You straight want to have straight sex sometimes. It just be like, I don't care how old you are, right? But you embrace and you love and you're passionate, right? They say women over 80 were more likely than those between 55 to 79 to say they were satisfied during sex. Because I think sometimes when you older, you may, and I'm not older like that, so I don't know, but I know some older people and they're older and you're like, y'all still have sex? It's like, yeah. So they like, shoot, it gets greater later. You're like, okay. But then I know some people that are like, hey, I just do it to keep the peace. And it's like, oh. It's like, I don't want sex to become a duty. Like, okay, let me go home. My husband gonna want some. Let me do my wifely duty. I hope to never ever feel that way. And I hope my husband never ever feels that way. I hope that you as a woman, you as a man never feels that way as you go forth in your life and you get older, right? Because it's supposed to be something that's meaningful and beautiful between two people who love each other. Number 5, a taste for life. As you age, y'all know, you go to the doctor, make sure you're healthy, right? Because people are falling dead every single day. But what we don't want to do is have a counter full of medication. What we need to do is dress better, eat better, so we don't have all these illnesses, right? The flu is flying around like the wind, okay? You know, we still in COVID. You know, there's different variants. I get it, but don't discount it, y'all. Don't count it like, "Ooh, I'm glad we got through that." When I hear people say that, I be looking like, "Oh, okay, no." Just like all the other things that came into this world, it's still here. We just didn't make it so relevant. Yet we still have to deal with those things. If you find things that you would like to do, it's called growth. Spice up your life, right? Try something new. Go somewhere you've never been. Do something you've never done. Enjoy life because it's such a beautiful gift. And when it's gone, it's gone. Number 6, what's that doing there? Now, one time I was riding with my mother, and my mother funny, and I guess I get some of my wittiness from my mother and my father blended, and then I got my own level of it, right? My mother was like, "What is that? Oh, TT." I said, "What, Ma?" She said, "I see something." I said, "You see what?" She said, "Girl, you got this little hair coming out your chin." I said, "Shut up." I said, "Hell no." Right? So she bust out laughing. She said, "I plucked mine." I said, "Oh, you..." Oh, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna pluck mine." She said, "Now don't shave it, because it'll grow back. Don't shave it, just pluck it." And I plucked it. And so it took a long time to come back. And I remember it hurted. And this is way before I knew about waxing and all that stuff, right? I was still young. And I took a razor and I shaved that one hair. The devil's a lie. That one hair turned into 2-3 friends coming back to visit when it decided to come. I'm like, disrespectful, right? And it's like, all right. So you get these different things as we get older. Our bodies change, hormones change, desires change, things like that. And they increase or they decrease. You're going to go up or down. There's no in between, okay? And this is all caused by changes in our hormones. So get used to it as you get older. Number 7, rise and shine. Like you do this morning, like you did this morning, like you do every morning, rise and shine. There's a good chance you'll become the morning person. Like, I'm a night person and a morning person. It depends what I got to do, right? Can I sleep in? I'm always like, oh, I'm sleeping in. And then I'm like, oh, I woke up. I'm going to do this one thing. And then I'm multitasker, right? So I'm like, oh, let me do that, do that, do that, do that. Half the day is gone by the time I'm done, right? But if you're a morning person and you always wanted to be a sleep-in person, or you really wanted to be a morning person, your patterns can shift, right? Sometimes you get sleepier earlier and you wake up earlier. And that seems to work out well for some. But they say folks over 65 tend to wake up during the night and sleep more during the day. And I say for my mother, that's true, because she will go to take naps, you know, and I'm like, this isn't healthy for you, Mom. She'll take a nap a couple times through the day and she's up at night. And she used to always be up at night, cleaning the house when we were kids. I used to be like, why she clean at night? Maybe because she let us do what we gonna do, and she let us go to bed, and she figure, okay, now they're asleep, they're not gonna junk my house up or tear it up or do anything. I can get my laundry done and pre-cook or whatever I'm gonna do and get that out the way. When they're going to school, she can hit the streets, whatever she was gonna do, chill, watch her stories, whatever she was gonna do. Most of the time my mother had to work 2 jobs, so that's what she did. Okay. Number 8, bye-bye migraines. They say, now I don't know this for a fact, but they say once you hit your 70s, those headaches may have had much of your life, they go away. They say it gets better later. So a lot of people that suffer from headaches, say as they get older, they go away. For me, I was suffering with migraines until I had my first child. I remember I used to have migraines like clockwork. I promise you, like clockwork. And once I had my older son, I didn't experience them anymore. I don't know what that did, having a child, because that's like next to death. Y'all know if you were a woman, you and had a child, or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, whatever, that's a pain that, oh my God, whether you had a C-section or you had a natural. Some people are like, oh, I just popped him out. Oh, okay, great for you. That's not my story. And I know plenty of people it's not, but then I know some that's like, hey, I was out the hospital the next day. I'm like, what? I was back to work 2 weeks later. I didn't need no 6 to 8 weeks. I'm like, oh, okay. Right? So as we get older, sometimes our vision changes, our sensories change, and disturbances manifest. Sometimes, hopefully, more than not, it will happen without being in pain, having to pay a price for it. Okay? Number 9, don't quit your day job. Now, early retirement might not be the best thing for your health. Unless you have a fun life ahead of you, a second life, you're a grandparent, you're planning to travel the world or whatever. And I say that because it's statistically, and there's not no proof, sound data, I would say, but you hear a lot of elderly people say, I work a little here and there, even if it's part-time. I can't just quit because my friend so-and-so, when they retired, they was like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, and they died. I was talking to my stepfather maybe last year, and he's 90, right? He's 90. Believe it or not, he still works. He's retired 2 times, and he still works, right? And I asked him, I said, why don't you retire? You're like at the age you should be enjoying your life, And he said, no. Then he said, that's all I know. I've worked all my life. And, I don't really like to travel anymore because of my age and because of my health. And, I don't like the hustle and bustle of things. I'm a simple person, and I like the home life. I like being home with your mother. When your kids come by, bring the grandkids by. And this is my stepfather saying this. And so it's like, oh, he says, yeah. And a lot of my friends that have retired, they've died. And I don't, I said, but you don't want to work till you die. You don't want to be that guy that, oh man, he passed away on the job, or, he was like, no, but I'm going to work as long as I can. And I'm like, wow. Okay. Now there's a study called the Longevity Project, found that people who work hard at a job they enjoy live the longest. He actually loves what he does. He works for the post office. He's been there 61 years. And prior to that, he was in the military. So he loves what he does. He loves his people that he works with. He's seen people come and go. And I said, that's almost like, it reminds me of the Green Mile. You live so long, you outlive people. And you see them come and go. You could very well see a generation 2 or 3 to live at that age to be 90, right? And along with good friends and good marriages, good times, that could prove to be great for you. But then for some, it's what keeps you going. So I would implore you, if that's you, don't quit your day job. Number 10, fear is not your friend. You may worry about breaking bones as you age, because we don't heal like we used to. I know right now I have a torn meniscus and a torn rotator cuff. Not gonna heal on its own. I know I need surgery on both work related accidents, and I'm not about to do that. God has been so amazing with sustaining me, and I know when I'm in pain, I try to do what I can. On top of the lupus, I try to just do what I can. And when I need to sit this whole train down into the port, I sit it down. But fear is not your friend. And we tend to worry more as we get older about breaking this, breaking that, because we know we don't heal up like we used to. Right? And that's understandable. When older people fall, they have a harder time getting up. Some can't get up without help. Some do break things when they fall. And it's a big fear, but it's not your friend. Fear is not supposed to be a part of our lives. You could be skeptical, concerned, and cautious, but don't let fear control you. Number 11, self-confidence. Self-esteem soars as we get older. You know, you used to wouldn't wear that. Now you will. Now, I'm not saying going out there and looking like you are wearing your children's clothes. But you used to say, oh, I don't want nobody. Like, I know people are like, I don't go out without my wig. But as they got older, they're like, shoot, I'm about to be free. I don't care what these people think, right? Don't go out here with a bonnet on, right? Some of y'all like, I'm just going to put this bonnet on because I don't feel like doing nothing in my hair. I would rather you go out with your hair standing over your head than going out with a bonnet. That's me. That's just me. Because that bonnet is for inside the house. It's not meant to go out. Like, I hate it when my boys wanted to leave the house with a do-rag on. I would be like, listen, hey, player. You ain't rolling on these streets with me. My hair ain't lined up or my hair ain't cut, then stay home. That's not an option with me. You're not going to go out to dinner with me. That's not I could roll it up, make it look nice. What? And it's like when you pop up, I used to be like, oh, so y'all just going to sneak it in? Okay, I see. It's, I'm going to give you all the language in private. Yeah, in private, I'm going to give you all the language. But self-esteem, it's as we get older, it increases, right? And it increases with our wealth, our education. We take it to the next level. We want to work out more. We want to be healthier. But it do seem to decline when we hit the 60s, they say. And that's because we're getting older. The body is tired. We don't have all that energy we once had. Right? And that's because we're getting older. Some are developing health issues. And we're just like, it's okay. I'm enjoying life and I'm good. Life is good. And then we take it as we come. Day by day, we take it as a grain of salt. This is where I am today, and this is where I hope to be tomorrow, right? And we boost that confidence up. And in today's time, a lot of us, we tend to want to help others increase their self-confidence. Number 12, less stress. Honey, whoo, baby, life. The baby boomers and older adults report less stress than people younger. Now, I have to say, I carry a lot of stress, unfortunately. And I'm trying to learn and get better with alleviating my stress and putting it in its proper place. Not carrying other people's stresses because that's a part of my issue. I carry other people's burdens. And I'm like, listen. We got to learn how to live this thing called life and navigate this thing. Right? There's no training course, really. It's a learn by doing process. And what we say, trust the process. Learn to trust the process. Right? Because according to the American Psychological Association Annual Stress in America report, health, money problems, they escalate. Right? And then they say 9 out of 10 people in the elderly age say they're not doing enough to manage it. Well, if we catch it, whether you wait till you get to your middle age or you can catch it when you're young to learn how to manage it, then it won't be such an issue for you as you get older. Number 13, weight of the world. I just said that. The longer you're alive, the more gravity brings you down. People, situations, circumstances, and your body. Right? I don't know why the body starts to look like it's deteriorating. I don't know. Some people look perfectly fine in their 80s. And you're like, you what? But then some look like, oh my God, are you only 80? So it just kind of depends. Just take care of yourselves. Eat better. Get sleep. The body needs to rest. I don't know the real amount of time the body needs to rest, but I think we know when we rest. If no one's interrupting you, sleep until you wake up on your own. Until God says, wakey, wakey. Don't rush it. Right? Because that can make you about an inch shorter as you get older by carrying the weight of the world on you. It makes you look old before you need to look older. Number 14 and the final one, strength in numbers. When you are surrounded around your peers, you get motivation. There's energy exchanged. And it only gets better as you get older. We started our little travel group. We started out in a nice size number, but as you know, it's hard to get people to be on the same kind of schedule, dates. People have their lives, and you can say, listen, at this time, we're trying to be tradition. We're going to do this at this time. a weekend is all we ask out of it. You can't take 3 days out of 365, 366 on a leap year, 3 days out of that year and say, this is for me and me and my girls or me and my fellas, because it's a two-way street. It's not just about the girls' trips. The fellas need their time too, right? Couples trips, whatever that looks like for you. But there's strength in numbers. Take that time to do some things with your girlfriends or your guy friends or other couples. You work hard. You play hard. You love on your family, your friends. You do for others. Tell yourself, look yourself in the mirror and say, you know what? You work hard every day, honey. Sir, ma'am. And you deserve to take 3 days and go, heck, wherever you want to go. It's called planning. If you want to go to another country, why can't you? You see it on social media. You see it in the news. Oh, that looks so fun. They doing this and they doing that. Okay, well, if that's what you want to do, then why aren't you doing it? Well, I don't have the money. Okay, well, it's called planning, preparing, yeah, right? And discounts. You can find all kind of discounts all over the place. But you have to do what? I say, what's that 4-letter word? Find. That means you got to put in a little bit of work. Do the work. The end game will be phenomenal. Well, that's all I have for you this morning. We did a whole lot this morning, more than normal, but it is the top of the morning show. And I hope that this day has been a blessing as you heard something or took down 1 out of the 14 or 2 out of the 14 or all 14 and said, you know what, I'm going to take this into consideration so that I can enjoy my life as I get older. Because the end game is to live a full, vibrant, healthy, peaceful, positive life. Have a great day. Don't forget, tonight I'll be on an amazing podcast, Sunshine Camila's Show. You'll see that floating on my social media today as we gear in 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check us out. It's going to be a great show. And don't forget, tomorrow is the closing date for the Michigan Nonprofit Association Relief Fund. Remember, there's $35 million out there, ladies and gentlemen. Michiganders only. We're talking to you. You got a nonprofit organization. If you haven't filled out the application, go and do it. If you started it and you got interrupted, you forgot to finish, you were missing something, no problem. You don't have to start over. Don't be discouraged. Go where you stopped and it'll take you right back there and finish it. What you don't want to happen is that you sit there and say, dang, I missed out on getting monies from that $35 million grant money. Don't be her. Don't be him. Don't be them. It's brought to you by Michigan Nonprofit Association, the New Citizens Press. Shout out to them, Rena Risper. And all of you that are listening, I just want to thank you again for tuning in for Top of the Morning Show. And checking me out on my Tap In Tuesdays at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on my social media platforms. It's greatly appreciated. I'll see you soon.